Right, so now we can see the results. The winner is the option that you first, what you do first, you write the structure of the content. Okay, write the structure, write write the outline. Then I think just write anything, and in the second place, and reading until the words would come naturally. Okay, right, and this is quite nice. Thank you so much for answering. So there is no shortcut to writing a good paper without a deep understanding of the subject, right? So we need to read a lot in order to understand, to get deeply involved into the subject matter. And if you work in a field which is really competitive or in work, like for example, mine, digital transformation and education, we weekly get new articles, two or three. So in order to keep your reading in current state, you have to read like 2-3 articles, new articles a week, not to mention the articles which summarize something from the past years. So the amount of literature we have to read weekly in order to start writing can be overwhelming. And if you wait until the writing comes, so what I mean by saying it is just it is no point of waiting. And extensive reading and thorough bookmarking of everything weeks before you are planning to start writing, it is essential. It's like Francis Bacon said that reading makes the fool man, conference makes a ready man, and writing makes an exact man. So we have to start. And I am with those people who said that we should think of the outline and of the paper, of the concept of the paper, and so on. So when we want to focus on our critical skills, how we engage with the literature, when we want to make sure that our scientific arguments are correct and logical, so writing is the best and the most exacting part of what we do as researchers. So we should start. I'm going to show with you ideas which experienced writers help us to start our papers and do it quickly. So this is the Peter Carr from University of Minnesota, and his ideas are that first of all, we have to renew the notes and renew the literature search. It doesn't mean reading, it means reviewing what you've already collected in your folders, which you've already noted in the articles, so review them. This is the first step. So before you get ready to write the paper, you should review all your work done before. The second is, and very important, is to think of the audience, because we need to know what the purpose of the paper is, whether it is a research paper, whether it is a review, or it is a tutorial paper, or it is a journal article. So we have to think of the audience. And always with any paper, the real primary reader of our paper is a reviewer. And reviewers are kind of gatekeepers. So get their comments firstly addressed is very important. And the more you can get them addressed in the first draft, the better off you are and finally getting the paper published. And next, as most of you said, it is, I think we can remove the poll from the screen, yeah? Okay, so it is the work, it is making the outline of the paper, creating the outline. Because the outline is easy to do, and actually it is a fun to do outline. And the logical sequence of your data, of your graphs, of your tables can be also considered as an outline. And the reason why an outline is important, because well, we may not finish paper in one sitting, and we'll probably won't finish it in one sitting. So if we get the outline done, we can easily pick the work up back when we finish in the place where we finished before. The next step, as Peter Carr states, is that put the data in logical order, because when we are putting the data, we are kind of contributing to that outline. And the next, actually the first writing stage is writing the methodology. Why the methodology goes first? Because it is the easiest part to write, because we already know it. We already done it, and we know what to put in there in methodology section. And then logically, it is next write experimental part, the field work, what you did and what you got from it. This is interesting that only small, not many people, as I see the poll, voted for the introduction. And this is quite right, because introduction is the hardest part to do. And it is better to start with something which you're already familiar with. And so those two parts, methodology and experimental part, they are. And the next one, which is logically stems from the experimental part, is writing results and discussion, which stems from them. And after that, we should review and clean up everything there. This is a very interesting stage here, because actually while reviewing and cleaning up, you once again revise all your content and put it on the surface for writing the introduction. After that, you are writing the literature review if it is necessary. You're writing the abstract, because all the content is already on the surface. You put it during the revision stage. And you're writing the abstract and acknowledgements. And only after that comes the introduction. Two most important things to address in the introduction. It is why was the study done, and how, and the second part is how you write about you should put your background. So how you've got to collect the data, what the information about so you should be able to give the reader a sufficient background to understand what you did by doing this thing. Why introduction is very important? Because actually people start, the readers, they don't go into the paper. First of all, they start with the introduction, and then they decide whether they read the entire paper or just drop it. So why introduction comes in the very last. And logically, the last part is to do references. About references, I think we'll talk a bit later when we'll be discussing how to integrate the software, the Scrivener, with a reference manager. I'd like you now to think of the question why we have started this presentation with the stages rather than the tool which was advertised. As we see here, for example, looking at the Peter Carr succession, experienced writer advised to write things out of order. So one day we can write methodology, then we write literature review, and only then at the end we write, for example, the acknowledgements and then introduction. So we kind of mess with a bunch of different texts, and with Scrivener, we don't need to do it in a linear fashion, like we are doing it in the traditional software like Microsoft Word, because in the Microsoft Word, it's kind of difficult to jump in around just because of the nature of the software. And so this is what I like about Scrivener. So without any force, you can then collect all these parts of the text in a logical order. And you don't end up with the files and folders which you scattered over your computer, which you have to collect. So comes the Scrivener. So why it is a game changer for me? I've been using Scrivener for 5 years now, and I started using it